Imagine this. You wake up one day and everything around you feels eerily still. The air is heavy, the silence deafening. You glance at your phone, no notifications, no calls, no messages. For a moment you wonder if the world has forgotten you, but then as you sit up, a deeper realization dawns. You have forgotten yourself. The dreams you once held so close, the ambitions that once burned like fire in your chest have faded into the background noise of daily life. You are successful by society standards, stable job, decent income, a comfortable routine, but something gnaws at you. A quiet, insistent voice whispers, "Is this all there is?" Now, imagine another scenario. You are standing in a room filled with people. They are laughing, talking, exchanging ideas. You recognize some of them, visionaries, innovators, leaders, who seem to move through life with an almost supernatural ease. They are the kind of people who make success look effortless, who seem to attract opportunities like magnets. You want to approach them, to ask how they do it, but something holds you back. A voice in your head says, "You don't belong here. You're not one of them." Here lies the paradox. You know you are capable of more. You feel it in your bones, in the restless energy that keeps you awake at night. Yet, despite your efforts, success feels just out of reach. You read the books, attended the seminars, followed the advice of experts. You worked hard, sacrificed, and pushed yourself to the limit. But the breakthrough you crave remains elusive. Why? What if the answer lies not in what you're doing, but in who you're surrounding yourself with? What if the key to unlocking your potential isn't just about mindset, habits, or discipline, but about the people who shape your thoughts, your beliefs, your very reality? Consider this. Every great achievement in history was not the work of a single individual, but the result of a collective force. Behind every visionary leader, every groundbreaking discovery, every empire built, there was a mastermind, a group of individuals who shared ideas, challenged assumptions, and amplified each other's strengths. Napoleon Hill, in his seminal work, Think and Grow Rich, called this the Mastermind Principle. He described it as the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people who work toward a definite purpose. But here's the unsettling truth. Most people are not part of a mastermind. They are surrounded by voices that reinforce their limitations, not their potential. They are trapped in echo chambers of mediocrity where dreams are dismissed as impractical and ambition is met with skepticism. They are like lone sailors adrift in a vast ocean, unaware that the currents are pulling them further from their destination. So the question is not just how to succeed, but who you are allowing to influence your journey. Who are the people in your inner circle? Do they inspire you to think bigger, to push harder, to dream wildly? Or do they subtly, or not so subtly, reinforce your doubts, your fears, your insecurities? And here's the deeper, more uncomfortable question. What if the reason you haven't achieved the success you desire is not because you lack talent, drive, or opportunity, but because you haven't yet surrounded yourself with the right people? What if the missing piece of the puzzle has been staring you in the face all along, hidden in plain sight? This is not just a question about success. It's a question about identity, about purpose, about the very fabric of your reality. It forces you to confront the uncomfortable truth that you are not an island. You are not self-made. You are the product of your environment, your relationships, your influences, and if that environment is not aligned with your highest aspirations, then no amount of effort will be enough to bridge the gap. So as you sit with these questions, let them sink in. Let them unsettle you. Let them challenge the assumptions you've held about success, about yourself, about the world. Because the journey we're about to embark on is not just about achieving success, it's about redefining it. It's about understanding the invisible forces that shape your life and learning how to harness them to create a reality that aligns with your deepest desires. But before we go any further, let's pause. Let's dig deeper into the hidden problem, the psychological and philosophical roots of why so many people struggle to surround themselves with success. Because only by understanding the problem can we begin to unravel the solution. Let's begin with a question that cuts to the core of the human experience. Why do we sabotage ourselves? Why, when we yearn for success, do we often gravitate toward environments, relationships, and habits that keep us small? The answer lies not in a lack of ambition or effort, but in something far more insidious, something woven into the fabric of our psychology, our culture, and even our biology. Consider this. From the moment we are born, we are shaped by forces beyond our control. Our families, our schools, our societies imprint upon us a set of beliefs about what is possible, what is acceptable, and what is realistic. These beliefs become the invisible boundaries of our world, the walls of the cage we don't even realize we're in. Carl Jung, the pioneering psychologist, called this the collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared beliefs, fears, and archetypes that influence our behavior in ways we can't fully comprehend. For many, this conditioning manifests as a deep-seated fear of standing out, of being too much, of failing publicly. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, observed that the greatest human need is not pleasure or power, but meaning. Yet so many of us live lives devoid of meaning because we are afraid to pursue what truly matters to us. We settle for the safety of the familiar even when it leaves us empty. This fear is not irrational. It is rooted in our evolutionary biology. For thousands of years, survival depended on fitting in, on being part of the tribe. To be ostracized was to face almost certain death. This primal fear of rejection still lingers in our modern minds, even though the stakes are no longer life or death. We fear judgment, ridicule, and failure because on some level we still equate them with existential threat. But the problem goes deeper than fear. It is also about identity. We are creatures of habit, and our habits are shaped by the stories we tell ourselves. If you've spent years believing that you're not good enough, that success is for other people, or that you don't deserve to be happy, those beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies. They create a feedback loop. You act in ways that reinforce your beliefs, and your beliefs justify your actions. This is what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort we feel when our actions contradict our beliefs. To resolve this discomfort, we often change our beliefs to align with our actions rather than the other way around. Societal conditioning amplifies this problem. We live in a culture that glorifies individualism but punishes nonconformity. We are told to follow our dreams, but only if those dreams fit within the narrow parameters of what is deemed acceptable. We are encouraged to be ambitious, but not too ambitious. We are praised for being unique, but only if our uniqueness doesn't make others uncomfortable. This double bind creates a kind of psychological paralysis where we are torn between the desire to succeed and the fear of standing out. And then there is the issue of limiting beliefs. These are the subconscious assumptions that dictate our behavior, often without our awareness. For example, you might believe that success requires extraordinary talent, that you need to have all the answers before you start, or that failure is a reflection of your worth. These beliefs are like invisible chains, holding you back from taking the very actions that could lead to your success. Napoleon Hill, in his study of the world's most successful individuals, identified a common thread. They all had a definite purpose. They knew what they wanted, and they surrounded themselves with people who supported their vision. But for most people, the opposite is true. They lack clarity about their purpose, and they surround themselves with people who reinforce their doubts and fears. This is not a coincidence. It is a reflection of the deep-seated belief that they are not worthy of success, that they do not deserve to be part of something greater. So what is the solution? How do we break free from these psychological and societal chains? The first step is awareness. You must recognize the forces that are shaping your behavior, the beliefs that are holding you back, and the people who are influencing your mindset. This is not easy. It requires courage, honesty, and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. But awareness alone is not enough. You must also take deliberate action to reshape your environment, your relationships, and your habits. This is where the mastermind principle comes into play. By surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your vision, you create a new feedback loop, one that reinforces your potential rather than your limitations. Yet even this is not the full picture. To truly understand the power of the mastermind principle, we must explore the unseen consequences of failing to surround ourselves with success. What happens when we remain trapped in environments that stifle our growth? What are the long-term effects of living in alignment with our fears rather than our aspirations? The answers to these questions are not just personal, they are societal. They reveal the hidden forces that shape not only our individual lives, but also the world we live in. And they point the way toward a radical shift in perspective, one that has the power to transform not just your life, but the lives of those around you. But before we delve into that, let's pause. Let's sit with the weight of what we've uncovered so far, because the journey we're on is not just about success, it's about liberation. It's about breaking free from the invisible chains that bind us and stepping into a new way of being. A man sits alone in a dimly lit room, staring at a blank screen. He has dreams, big dreams, of writing a novel that will move hearts, challenge minds, and leave a lasting legacy. But the words don't come. He tells himself it's because he's not talented enough, not disciplined enough, not enough. What he doesn't realize is that the problem isn't him. It's the environment he's created. The room is silent, devoid of inspiration. The people in his life are kind but complacent, more likely to offer platitudes than push him to grow. He is, in every sense, alone. Now imagine another scenario. A woman stands at the edge of a crowded room, watching as others network, exchange ideas, and forge connections. She wants to join them, to share her vision, to find collaborators who will help her bring her ideas to life. But she hesitates. She tells herself she's an introvert, that she doesn't belong, that no one will take her seriously. What she doesn't see is that her hesitation isn't just a personal failing, it's a symptom of a deeper issue. She has spent years in environments that reinforced her insecurities, that taught her to play small, to stay quiet, to avoid risk. These scenarios are not just stories, they are metaphors for the unseen consequences of failing to surround yourself with success. When you remain in environments that stifle your growth, when you surround yourself with people who reinforce your limitations, the effects are profound and often invisible. Let's start with the most immediate consequence, stagnation. When you're not challenged, not inspired, not pushed to grow, you remain stuck in a state of inertia. Your potential lies dormant like a seed buried too deep to sprout. Over time, this stagnation becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. You begin to believe that this is all you're capable of, that your dreams are unrealistic, that success is for others, not for you. This is what psychologists call learned helplessness, a state in which you feel powerless to change your circumstances, even when opportunities for growth are within reach. reach. But the consequences go deeper than stagnation. They extend to your identity. When you are constantly surrounded by people who doubt you, who dismiss your ambitions, who reinforce your fears, you begin to internalize their beliefs. You start to see yourself through their eyes as someone who is not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy of success. This is what sociologists call social mirroring, the phenomenon by which we see ourselves reflected in the perceptions of others. Over time, this distorted self-pigeon becomes your reality. And then there are the cognitive biases that keep you trapped. One of the most insidious is the confirmation bias, the tendency to seek out information that confirms your existing beliefs and ignore information that challenges them. If you believe you're not capable of success, you will unconsciously seek out evidence to support that belief. You will focus on your failures, dismiss your successes, and interpret neutral events as proof of your inadequacy. This bias creates a kind of mental prison, one that is incredibly difficult to escape. The consequences are not just personal, they are societal. When individuals remain trapped in environments that stifle their growth, the ripple effects are felt across communities, industries, and even generations. Think about it. How many groundbreaking ideas have been lost because their creators were too afraid to share them? How many potential leaders have remained silent because they were taught to doubt their own voices? How much collective potential has been squandered because we have failed to create environments that nurture growth, creativity, and collaboration? This is the unseen cost of failing to surround yourself with success. It's not just about missed opportunities or unfulfilled potential. It's about the erosion of self-worth, the narrowing of possibilities, the slow death of dreams. It's about living a life that feels smaller than it should, a life that leaves you wondering, what if? But here's the thing, these consequences are not inevitable. They are the result of choices. Choices about who you surround yourself with, what environments you immerse yourself in, and what beliefs you allow to shape your reality. And if they are the result of choices, then they can be undone. This is where the mastermind principle comes into play. By surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your vision, you create a new environment, one that nurtures growth, fosters creativity, and amplifies your potential. But to fully understand the power of this principle, we must explore how to break free from the unseen traps that hold us back. This is not just about changing your circumstances, it's about changing your mindset, your identity, your very way of being. It's about stepping into a new reality, one where success is not just possible, but inevitable. And that brings us to the next step, the rebellion. How do we break free from the unseen forces that hold us back? How do we reclaim control of our lives and build a new way of thinking? The answers lie in a radical shift in perspective, one that challenges everything we've been taught about success, mindset, and personal growth. But before we explore that shift, let's pause. Let's sit with the weight of what we've uncovered so far. Because the journey we're on is not just about success, it's about transformation. Breaking free from the forces that hold you back is not a passive act. It is a deliberate, often painful process of dismantling the beliefs, habits, and relationships that have shaped your reality. It is a rebellion against the status quo, against the voices, both internal and external, that tell you to play small, to stay quiet, to avoid risk. The first step in this rebellion is to question everything. This means challenging the beliefs you've inherited, the assumptions you've accepted, and the stories you've told yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. It means asking yourself, Who would I be if I weren't afraid? What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? What kind of life would I create if I were truly free? This process of questioning is not easy. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. But it is also liberating. As you begin to peel back the layers of conditioning, you start to see yourself more clearly. You begin to recognize that the limitations you've accepted are not inherent. They are imposed, and if they are imposed, they can be removed. To build your mastermind, you must first identify the people who align with your vision, who challenge you to grow, and who believe in your potential. These are not necessarily the people who are closest to you. They may not even be the people you currently know. They are the people who inspire you, who push you out of your comfort zone, who see the best in you even when you can't see it yourself. But building a mastermind is not just about finding the right people, it's also about becoming the right person. This means cultivating the mindset, habits, and behaviors that attract success. It means stepping into your power, owning your potential, and refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. This is where the real work begins. It requires discipline, resilience, and a willingness to fail. But it also requires something deeper, a shift in identity. You must begin to see yourself not as someone who is striving for success, but as someone who is already successful. This is not about arrogance or delusion. It's about alignment. When you align your identity with your aspirations, you create a powerful feedback loop that reinforces your potential. The rebellion is not just about changing your circumstances. It's about changing your mindset. It's about recognizing that success is not something you achieve, it's something you become. And becoming requires a radical shift in perspective. This shift is not easy. It requires you to confront your fears, to embrace uncertainty, and to take risks. But it is also transformative. As you begin to see yourself differently, you begin to act differently. And as you act differently, you begin to create a new reality, one where success is not just possible, but inevitable. But the rebellion is not just personal, it's also societal. When you break free from the forces that hold you back, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond yourself. You become a role model, a catalyst, a force for change. You show others what is possible, and in doing so, you inspire them to rebel against their own limitations. This is the power of the mastermind principle. It is not just about surrounding yourself with success. It's about creating a new paradigm, one where success is not the exception, but the norm. But before we explore the ultimate truth, the final, most powerful realization, let's pause. Let's sit with the weight of what we've uncovered so far. Because the journey we're on is not just about success, it's about revolution. Here it is, the moment of the ultimate truth that redefines everything you thought you knew about success, mindset, and personal growth. It is not a trick, a shortcut, or a secret formula. It is a profound paradigm-shifting insight that will change the way you see yourself, your relationships, and your place in the world. The ultimate truth is this: success is not something you achieve, it is something you attract. Let that sink in for a moment. Success is not a destination, a prize, or a reward for hard work. It is a state of being, a frequency, a vibration, and like all frequencies, it operates on the principle of resonance. You attract what you are. This is not a new idea. Ancient philosophers, modern scientists, and spiritual teachers have all pointed to this truth in different ways. Aristotle Aristotle spoke of eudaimonia, a state of flourishing that arises from living in alignment with one's true nature. Carl Jung explored the concept of individuation, the process of becoming who you are meant to be. And quantum physics has shown us that everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies, interacting through the laws of attraction and resonance. But what does this mean for you? It means that the key to success lies not in chasing external goals, but in cultivating an internal state of alignment. It means that the people, opportunities, and circumstances you attract are a reflection of your inner world, your beliefs, your mindset, your energy. This is why the Mastermind Principle is so powerful. When you surround yourself with people who vibrate at a higher frequency, people who are aligned with their purpose, who radiate confidence, who embody success, you begin to resonate with that frequency. Their energy becomes your energy. Their mindset becomes your mindset. Their success becomes your success. But here's the catch. You cannot fake alignment. You cannot simply mimic the habits of successful people and expect to achieve the same result. True alignment requires authenticity. It requires you to dig deep, to confront your fears, to shed the layers of conditioning that have kept you small. It requires you to step into your power, to own your potential, to become the person you were meant to be. This is the ultimate act of rebellion. It is a rejection of the false self, the version of you that has been shaped by societal expectations, fear, and self-doubt. It is a reclaiming of your true self, the version of you that is bold, creative, and unapologetically alive. When you achieve this level of alignment, something extraordinary happens. The universe begins to conspire in your favor. Opportunities appear as if by magic. Synchronicities abound. People are drawn to you not because of what you do, but because of who you are. This is not luck, it is resonance. But alignment is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process, a daily practice. It requires you to stay vigilant, to continually refine your mindset, to surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. It requires you to be intentional about your environment, your relationships, your habits, and here's the most beautiful part. When you achieve alignment, you don't just attract success, you become a magnet for it. You create a ripple effect that extends far beyond yourself. You inspire others to align with their own purpose, to step into their own power, to become the best versions of themselves. This is the true power of the Mastermind Principle. It is not just about surrounding yourself with success. It's about creating a new reality, one where success is not the exception, but the norm. It's about building a world where everyone has the opportunity to flourish, to thrive, to live in alignment with their highest potential. So as you sit with this ultimate truth, let it sink in. Let it reshape your understanding of success, of mindset, of personal growth. Let it inspire you to take action, to rebel against the forces that have held you back, to step into your power. Because the journey we've been on is not just about success, it's about transformation. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. It's about creating a life that is not just successful, but meaningful, fulfilling, and deeply aligned with your true self. And now, as we reach the end of this journey, I leave you with a question, one that will linger in your mind, haunting and inspiring you in equal measure. Who will you become when you stop chasing success and start attracting it? The answer lies within you.